from 1983 through the 1987 season. We hope you enjoy the color and excitement of high school football at its finest. They call it the Bowl. It was back in the 1930s that the community got together, brought in their horse teams, their old machinery, a lot of hard labor, and made this field what it is today. Later on, there were other improvements added, like lights and lowering the field just a little bit to make it even more of a bowl. Most would agree that, you know, since the 1920s and 30s, this has been one of the finest places to watch a football game. What did they see? They saw grandfathers who played football here, fathers or their sons played football here, and their sons played football here. And generation upon generation has seen West Branch football in the bowl. In the 20s and the 30s, Coach Gene Fisher piloted some of the finest teams that had ever played football for West Branch. Running backs like Floyd Christensen in the 40s and Warren Pierce in the 60s punched holes through defenses on this field. Jack Hoffman quarterbacked some excellent football teams back in the early 1950s. There were all-staters like Ray Fountain and Marv Cook, who played football here. And we even had a state championship football game, or football team here, an undefeated West Branch Bear squad that was named the #1 team in the state back in 1966. So there's a lot of tradition here. The football season's over now. We're approaching a winter. But it's a good time to reflect back on some of the finest moments in West Branch football history. I'd like to turn this over to Wayne Lang, the play-by-play voice of the West Branch Bears. Thanks a lot, Vid. I appreciate the introduction there. I'm Wayne Lang, the voice of the West Branch Bears. I do the cable vision for the past 4 years, and here we are down at the Bowl at Oliphant Street, December 6th, 1987. It's a gray overcast day. Everyone's kind of thinking about football memories every time you step on the field, even myself, back to the years of 1964, 65. And you think of the tradition that you think of when you step on this field here. A lot of great football players have come out of here, and I have to admit, when Coach Peterson first asked me to do the cable for the Bears, I was a little bit skeptical. I'd never done it before, and of course I have a son that had just getting into football, and that was my only association with the football program other than being great friends with Coach Peterson. And we went ahead and did it, and I found that as we went along through the years here that I've grown closer and closer to the program all the time, and you find a real fondness that you develop for the kids that play football down here. And the one thing that's impressed me is the class of the West Branch football program. The caring that you see between the kids and the coaches is just not a situation here where the coaching staff is a factory, tries to turn out kids, doesn't care about the kids. The coaching staff at West Branch School, I can honestly say, has a real feeling for the kids that play football for them. They try to take care of them as football players on the field, and they also try to take care of them as individuals and scholars off the field. And I think this is one thing that, to me as a parent, means more to me than maybe any accolades the athlete can get on the field. So there is a great fondness here between the coaching staff and the players, and I think it falls over into the community. the football program has a fine following here in West Branch. A great tradition of football here. The fans come out. The past 2 seasons we haven't had what you'd call the best of nights to watch football, but you can come down here on a Friday evening. Might be 30 degrees, it might be pouring rain, but I'll guarantee you there'll still be a lot of fans sitting in those stands up here on the west side of the field. So it means a lot to everyone in the community, to the coaching staff, and to the kids. It's nice to know your son's in nice hands when he comes down here to play football. We thought we'd go over a few facts here on the past tradition, just to show you some of the traditional things that have went on here. The program has turned out a lot of fine football players, as I've said before, and the school being the 9th in size compared to the 10 other schools in the conference, it's really unbelievable if you think of some of the statistics that go on here. You'd think a big school, sure, they're going to have a lot of all-state players, they're going to turn out a lot of prospects, but here we are, the number 9 school in size in the conference, and we're still turning out great football players. We've turned out 9 all-staters. That's Marv Cook, Brad Bartelt, Jeff Wright, Bob Peak, Bob Ty, Bill Ty, Vic Capper, Rick Fountain, and Pat Reed this past season. We've had 4 Shrine Bowl participants, Marv Cook, Bob Ty, Bill Ty, Vic Capper, and I'm almost certain that we're going to have another one this season. So there again, I mean, it's just unbelievable to think that a school this size is turning out this quality football players. We were talking a lot of Division I players here. Coach Peterson's been at the helm 5 years. He's had 4 winning seasons and a 65% winning percentage. Now, I think that record right there speaks for itself. As I said before, we've got a great fan following, a great tradition, and the college players that this program has turned out is number one. Of course, everyone's familiar right now with the situation that's going on over at the University of Iowa. We've turned out Marv Cook, who's probably one of the better players to ever play here. I'd say he's a definite MVP candidate at the University of Iowa football team this year, possible All-American next year. To think that he comes from a tiny town of West Branch, Iowa, puts a little good feeling in your heart. We got Mark Hyde, who just turned in a great season at Central College. Ron Pierce at Iowa Wesleyan. Dwayne Capper at Iowa Wesleyan, 2 other good football players. Another great one in Bob Peak. It went out William Penn. He's now transferred to Iowa State, and I'll really be surprised if Bob don't see some playing time there before his career is over with. Bob Ty at Mankato State, Bill Ty at Mankato State. Bill's just underwent surgery on his shoulders, and he's expected to be a definite prospect at Mankato State. We got Ryan Burton at Central College, a great back for the Bears. Steve Slaw at Dubuque College, a great lineman at West Branch turned out, and another great player and one of the hardest hitters that I've ever seen come out of the West Branch Bear football program, and that's Vic Capper. And like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just proud to be a part of the situation here in West Branch. I think anyone that's associated with the football program can hold their head high, and let's just hope that
years old, 5'11", and weighing 150 pounds, Floyd C. Christensen was the Red Grange of West Branch. He contributed 17 touchdowns, totaling 102 points, 5 of which were scored against the University High of Iowa City. Punting was also especially a Christensen, averaging 40 yards per punt. The Iowa Daily Press Association listed him as possibly the fastest back in the state. Floyd made the IDPA All-State third team. On defense, he was one of the hardest tacklers on the team. Looking back over the season, as a team, the Bears piled up 2,595 yards from scrimmage while holding their opponents to 1,167. 1,878 yards were gained against conference competition while holding their foes to 469 yards. The Bears tied for the conference championship with most of that year. Floyd received college offers from the University of Iowa, Cornell, and Poe after high school graduation.
Rick, you know who's starting
was drafted into the armed forces during World War II. Floyd lives in West Branch now with his wife, Darlene. They have one daughter, Heidi Herman, of Cedar Rapids, and a son, Chris, who is a senior this year at West Branch and is also a co-captain for this year's football team.
Barney starting a guard.
And now let's go back to the fall of 1961. Warren Pierce led the state in scoring in football his senior year. In his first game that year, he scored 7 TDs against Tipton. As a senior, he was all-state in football, basketball, and track. Warren held 3 track records that held up until Brad Bartelt broke them recently, just a few years ago.
I hope that wasn't one.
Warren then attended Upper Iowa, where he set 7 school records. He was second in the nation in scoring his senior year in small colleges, and that gained him recognition as a small college All-American. After college, Warren signed a pro contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. How about a big hand for these 2 fine athletes?
Right? Now what about the 2 wide receivers? Yeah.
with 42 seconds left. Bennington back to pass, a big rush, and he's brought down all the way back.
Good return there by Ryan Burton. Blaschick at quarterback. Drops back to pass. There's a heavy rush from Mount Vernon. Got a man wide open. Chris Baddock out here in the flat. Heads downfield. He's hit still on his feet.
On their own 30-yard line, there's the handoff to Jim Buell, and Buell with a nice run up over the 40-yard line.
Blaschick sets him down. Fakes the handoff inside to Freese. Has a nice spiral going down. Complete to Reed. Could be touchdown Bears. Touchdown Bears. Blaschick takes the football. Looks like he's going to throw again. Skirts out to the right side. Has a man open downfield. Braddock again wide open. 10-yard line. Good. He just overthrew the receiver a little bit, but a nice tight spiral. Capper out to the right. Draw play to Moore. Cuts it back up inside. Breaks 2 tackles. Gets forward for about a 5-6 yard gain.
Cook back to pass, looking for Hyde. Throws over, complete to Donovan. And he's brought down.
10. They can't get a 1st and 10 without getting in for a touchdown. Blaschick takes the football. Sweeps to the left side. Burton's got running room. He's in for a touchdown Bears.
Bring up 4th and 14 out of the shotgun. Cook throwing deep to Eggers, complete. Touchdown Bears after the penalty. In the I formation, Barney back to pass, heavy rush, and is brought down on the West Branch 37.
40 yards to go on their own 35-yard line. The Mustangs are going to pin their ears back on this one. We've got a double reverse to Christensen. Got a man wide open down the right side. Capper, he's got it. He cuts it back inside. He's close to a 1st down.
To Marv Cook at the 26, be a 36-yard kick. It's up. It looks long enough. It bounces off the crossbar and over. It's good. Bring up 2nd and 3 for Mount Vernon from the 50. Squires hands off to Clark again, and there's a fumble, and West Branch has it.
Randy Scriver with 1 assist. Jamie Lastek has 2 unassisted and 2 assists. Lenny Moore has 3 assists. Jim Freese has 1 unassisted. Steve Phillips has 2 unassisted, 2 assists. And Chris Christian has 1 unassisted and nearly had an interception. And Jim Freese did have 34-yard line. 10:40 left in the 2nd quarter. Still no score. Handoff inside to Braddock, and he has a huge hole there to run through. Busts it out and gets out to about the 50-yard line. A real fine run by Braddock. 1 yard to go for the 1st down. They still have 3rd remaining. 2:05 left in the football game. Shotgun formation. Sends 3 men out. Hit once, hit twice. He's down by number 54, Lenny Moore, back on about the Tiger 30-yard line. Hand off to the right side. What a hit by the Bears. He's hit at about the 3-yard line. They've decided to go for it instead of the field goal. Got a man in motion to the right. Murphy looks to the right, looks back to the left, has a man open, overthrows him in the end zone. Potential touchdown, and he overthrows his receiver. So the Bears have it with a chance to win. These Bears can pull this one out. Handoff right straight up the middle. Freese has some running room. He's in for a touchdown. No flags. Bears win. Bears win. Bears win. Look at this scene in the end zone, ladies and gentlemen. Let's buy this. You hate to see a team lose a football game like this. Tipton is just distraught at this point, but you got to feel happy for these young.
Scoreless game. There's Cook. And Bartel's in for the touchdown. From the Durant 11, correction. Cook back to pass, looking in the end zone. Complete to Hyde for the touchdown. He is just inside the goal line. Okay, 4th and 12 for Durant. There's the punt snap. It's fumbled. And the fumble is recovered by the Bears for a touchdown in the end zone. Number 14, Mark Jensen, the quarterback. And he pitches to Burton, the I-back. He's got open field in front of him. There he goes. He's gone. He's going to make it
over the middle. We're just lucky Rick Fountain was able to get his hands on it after a Mount Vernon player touched it. We've got a sweep around the left side. Got a shoot open over here for Chris Christensen. Heads down that left side. Good for a 1st down on about the Mount Vernon 40-yard line. 33-yard line. The double reverse again. Christian looks downfield. Has Capper out there again. Ball's what a catch by Vic Capper. A tremendous reception. 14. Ball now on the mid-Prairie 49-yard line. Dudchyk rolls right, has good protection this time. Has a man coming open. That's Reed downfield. And a great play by Pat Reed. Keep it. All right, the Wildcats come up to the line. Bears are shifting on defense. We had a player move for Columbus Junction, but there evidently is no flag. Gain of about 2 on that last play. Second down, 8 yards to go here for Mid-Prairie. Sexton in the backfield again. Great hit there, great play, and the rest of the Bears clean up. Someone lined up off sides. Dudchyk sets him down. Sweep to the right. No, it's a reverse. Christian looks downfield, has a man open. Number 5, a great catch. Ravellis and Weaver in the backfield. Koenig's a quarterback. Goes back to pass. He's looking long for number 8 again down the sidelines. Intercepted by a West Branch player. It's number 7, Chris Braddock, has his second interception of the evening. Tackled from behind.
Okay, 2nd and 5 for the Bears from their own 49. Cook back to pass. It's Hyde wide open on the left side. Hyde loose, down to the 30 and inside and ran out of bounds. He pitched to Westlake, fumble, and I believe the Bears have recovered. Yes, West Branch recovers on the 35-yard line. Peek on the option. The handoff to Buell. Buell straight ahead. Blows his way through, and he is going to be into the end zone for the touchdown. A 20-10 for the Wildcats, and of course they're going to go for it with just 2:17 left in the game. Larkin is hit hard. The ball's loose and picked up by Marv Cook, and he's going to waltz into the end zone. There's the sweep to Bartelt. He's got a host of blockers out in front of him and makes his way into the end zone for his second touchdown of the night with 8:40. He kicks away. It's a good kick. Goes off to the right side. Number 40, Weaver, gets the football, starts up the right side, cuts back to the middle. Tremendous hit by Vic Capper.
By number 2, Vic Capper.
The last pass completion to Capper was good for a first down. We've got running room out here to the right for Rose. He could be gone, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Burton, there he goes down the right side. Touchdown Bears. Nice Mustang 35-yard line. 8:42 left in this game. Freese in motion. Isolates him out here one-on-one. Takes a good hit. Heads downfield. Cuts it back inside. Still on his feet. Still going. What a run by Jim Freese.
And it's a reverse, and number 33, Jeff Wright, smelled it out. And
Comets was injured on that last play. We had an injury timeout. Dudchyk fakes 2 handoff, rolls to his right, has a man open over here. Capper's wide open on about the 20-yard line, and he's 10-yard line. Need to come away with something here. Handoff over left side to Fountain, and he's off to the races. Boom!
2nd and 10 for West Branch.
There we go.
Cook rolls to the right. Hemmed in, cuts back to the left. He's got open field. Cuts inside. Look at that. Beautiful broken field running. And he's hauled down at the
wide to the right. Dudchyk hands off over the left side to Freese, and he's got some running room right up the middle. There he goes. He's headed for it. It is. Touchdown Bears. Great run by Jim Freese. 4 yards to go. 4:51 left. Good snap. Kicks away. It's a good high booming kick. Headed for the coffin corner. One West Branch man tries to get it. They down it. Let's see where they mark it. It's on the 1-yard line, ladies and gentlemen. On the 1-yard line.
Oh, help from the field. First down for West Branch from the 20. Peek back to pass. Throwing deep in the end zone. He's got Capper all alone. The point after by Clark splits the uprights. Pressure on. 1:22 left in this football game.
Line looks to his left. He's under heavy pressure again. Ball's intercepted by Jamie Lanischek. Starts it back upfield. Gets all the way down to the Durant.
Hyde's foot wide to the right. Cook back to pass. And it's complete. Throw it to Peak. And Peak's run out of bounds at the 40-yard line by number of the touchdown. They give to Bartelt, and he is in for the touchdown.
Kicks up, and it's good. Right through the uprights. Taking plays. Got 3 minutes left here in the second quarter. We got a pitch to the wide side of the field here to Burton. He cuts it around one man. He may be able to break. He breaks out of the open, ladies and gentlemen. He could go all the way. He's down the left side. He is gone. Touchdown Bears. Second down, about a yard to go for a first down. 50 seconds left in the football game. Back to pass. He's under a heavy rush. Down he goes at the 42-yard line at Columbus Junction. Punt the ball away on their own 30-yard line. It's punted clear. It's high clear over the punter's head. The Bears are back. They're going to try and throw the football again. He is just low. Intercepted by the Bears. Intercepted by the Bears. Here at Mount Vernon. We got second down, 6 yards to go now with 7:51 left in the third quarter. They've got 33 and a quarterback now. He throws the pass up here. Number 2, Vic Capper intercepts on about the West Branch 32-yard line. Slaws back to punt for the Bears. Good snap from center. Good kick away for the Bears. It's a high punt. Going to number 29, Voigt again. Holy cow, good hit. Good hit by Capper.
And Cook sneaks it in for the touchdown. Yard line. And it's a reverse. And number 33, Jeff Wright, smells.
this segment of the program, Stub and Marge Rummels, who probably are one of the most famous athletic families in the community, been staunch backers of the football program and just in general West Branch athletics for over 50 years now. We were just talking here before we started the tape about some of the past history that they went through, and anybody that's from West Branch all know Marge and Stub and see them at all the athletic events that you come to. Just to go over a few facts that we were putting together that we're all kind of sitting around here laughing about, but they said they have been backers for over 50 years. They had 3 sons that played football for West Branch. Don's their oldest, and we won't disclose any ages here just to protect all the innocent. But believe it or not, Don started playing at the junior high football level in 1938 and played football from 7th on, graduated in 1944, and they were just telling me that the night after he graduated, he was drafted into World War II, left for the war, came back, played football at Coe College, and held the state record for the 50-yard dash for I don't know how many years, and the record was just recently broken, and that's kind of unbelievable when you think of all the great athletes that's come through the state of Iowa. They had twin sons that came along after Don, a couple years after Don, and that's Wayne and Warren, and they graduated in 1946. Jake, or as Warren is better known as around the West Branch area, got all state accolades at quarterback, but all their sons were all great athletes, and they not only participated in football, but were active in all of the sports programs at West Branch, and it's just a real great tribute. Going on down the list, of course, it didn't stop, though, with the 3 sons. Then we get to the grandkids. One of their more famous grandchildren is a gentleman by the name of Dave Rummels, who's on the professional golf tour right now, and I might add making a real adequate living there. They had 2 grandsons, Joe and Larry. Joe went on to play some junior college ball and then enlisted into the armed services and became a Green Beret. Larry went on to play 4 years of college football at Drake, and also now happens to be the assistant football coach here at West Branch on the defensive side of the football. So you can see that it all kind of evolves back to the West Branch area. And now they also had a grandson, Jamie Laschak, who's a senior on this year's football team. Great-grandson, yeah, excuse me. A great-grandson, Jamie Laschak, who was the quarterback on this year's very successful football team at West Branch. And we were just going to chat here a little bit, and I had some questions written down that I'd kind of like to ask Stub and Marge. And the first one that we were talking about was like, how big a part of your life do you think that the sports programs at West Branch have been?
Well, it's been a big part because we were so very interested in everything that they were in, and it was. They had their ups and downs, and there's times when it was wonderful to win, but we lost too.
Yeah, I know. We have to suffer some good.
That's part of the lesson that you get.
Just like life.
Yeah, right.
Really.
You give and you take.
Right.
You have to give and take.
Something else we were talking about is that I know you two feel very strongly about young kids becoming involved with the football program and athletics in general. You were saying that, right? Do you feel strongly about that?
We sure do.
One thing you mentioned, Marge, to me was that you think that kids learn a lot
yes.
from participating in sports.
I should say they learn discipline. They learn to abide by rules and learn to give and to take, to win and to lose, which is life. And you get that. I don't think there's any place that you learn that any better than to be playing ball or anything in athletics.
And you can apply it to life later on, can't you? The things that you learn. That's the way I feel about it too.
That's right.
Especially the discipline portion. That's something that seems like the country might be getting a little lax in certain areas. But Stub, we were talking too. Did you ever have to give some fatherly or grandfatherly advice after these football games when the boys come home? And we were talking about that earlier too. told me you had to lend an ear a few times at least.
Oh, I can remember once when one of the twins swore in a football game, and they threw out of the game, and they threw the wrong twin out.
That's great. That's a good one. That's a good one. So, how'd you handle that situation? I mean, did you have someone you had to calm down when they got home or not?
No, because Wayne sat on the bench the rest of the game, and Heppel just went for him for dear life, and he was the wrong fella.
I was the referee. I was the referee because he threw the wrong one out.
Oh my God.
They'd been right on Mount Vernon's goal line the whole blessed first half, and Jake says, well, shouldn't say this, but where in the hell is that goal line? And Bill Gerlitz says, what do you think I've been sitting on all evening? He was one of the linemen, you know. And so the official heard him say that, you know, and then took Wayne out. And Heppel grabbed him by the hair and jerked his hair, and we felt sorry for him, but it wasn't him at all.
Oh, that's a great story. That is a great story. Great story. Marge, you said that you had kind of a little pregame ritual that you used to, you might want to explain to us what that was before all the big games.
We were living here in town, of course, and the boys had their friends, and before a football game, I'd always have steak and baked potatoes, and never knew exactly how many they'd be bringing home with them. And we usually had several, didn't we? And before a ball game, we enjoyed that part of
You
it.
named some of them.
And then when the grandson,
was one.
Kenny Lathrop, there's another name in West Branch football.
Glenn Hope,
Glenn Hope
Daryl Foster,
Earl Proctor was there.
brings back a lot of great
Three
memories.
boys.
oh, and Chris.
Chris was there.
Chris
Tank wasn't so high those days, though.
Christian was a great athlete.
Yes, he was.
Great athlete.
Great.
He was the greatest of them all, really.
And well, it just sounds like those used to be the good old
They
days, as
were.
we all say,
They
right?
were.
Those were good times.
And then when Joe and Larry came along, why, I still did the same thing, and they'd have, well, Butch came a lot. He'll tell you that too. Butch came to eat with us, and I forget some others too, you know.
Well, that's great. That's really great. Kind of last thing I would like to ask is, I know you two feel strongly about this and talking before we started here, but you feel that people such as you should stay involved with athletics and be involved with West Branch program, right?
Oh my.
That's what we'd like to see. Stub, what was you telling me? I thought you had a great statement there about...
Well, I think it'd keep them younger if they went.
Yeah.
Yeah, like-
And you two are perfect examples of that as far as I'm concerned.
I think it'd be good for them.
Great. Great.
Really get involved, be interested in
Great.
in what. And I think it means a lot to the boys or girls, whichever they are, to know that their folks are back up, you know.
Yeah,
It
it
means
does.
a lot,
It does.
I think.
Yeah, I know an old player that's good, and his dad hardly ever comes to watch him.
That's what you hate to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what you hate to see.
You know.
It means a lot to the kids.
Yeah.
I know from playing myself, it does mean a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I'd like to thank you two for coming down and visiting with me today. You brought back a lot of great memories, and I think you two are just great for the community and great for kids and do all of us a lot of good. And just thanks a bunch. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you at the football games next year, okay?
Well, we hope.
We'll be there if we can make her.
All right.
We got to what's his fella
All right, yeah.
on out.
Yep, they're talking about Lance Peterson, our cameraman here today, who's doing all the close-up camera work for us, and he's plays for his dad here at West Branch. So, like I said, we'd like to say thanks again to Marge and Stubb, and we'll just a second. We'll add one more thing before we leave.
I'm just gonna has had, which is most important, is discipline, and Butch has had that discipline. And sure, win and lose we have, but that's part of it. And the discipline means a lot in turning out good boys.
It can mean the difference between winning and losing, can't it?
You bet, right.
Okay, well, thanks again. We really appreciate you being here. Former Booster Club president, Bill Burton, another well-known person in the community of West Branch here. He's worked for Amoco for 22 years, run his own ag service for 4, and now he's working at West Branch Farm Supply. And Bill's been a great backer of West Branch athletics. I've known Bill for a number of years, and nice guy to be around, and a great father, I might add, also. He's had 2 kids here at West Branch. The one that's connected with the football, of course, is Ryan. Ryan was a great halfback here at West Branch, made first team all-conference honors. And I might add that here again is another situation where even though Bill's kids are grown now and have moved on to get on with the rest of their life, Bill still remains a good backer here at West Branch. He runs the clock out at the Bear basketball games and also runs the mic, so he has a little experience on the other side of the microphone also. And it's kind of a pleasure for me to sit here and talk to Bill. And Bill, one of the first things I had that I wanted to cover was that how do you feel the community of West Branch is right now as far as back in the football program? I kind of feel that West Branch is a real strong football community right now. How do you feel about that?
Well, I really believe that, like you say, West Branch is a football town. And we have a ideal situation here for all of our spectators to get access to our field, natural bowl here. I think it's the community really supports our football program.
We've got a lot of, and it brings the community a little bit closer together, I think, on Friday nights when we're down there on that football field. So.
Definitely, it sure does that.
Another thing we were talking about is that I know you feel strongly about this, but you feel that athletics play a big part of a young person's life. And we were talking about the direction that you think that it sends them. Can you want to expound on that a little bit more? We were talking about even carrying over into the classroom.
Well, with the youngsters involved in sports, he's better physically in shape. It teaches him discipline, how to get along with his peers, and academically, he's got to be a little bit better than somebody that is not for sports, because then when they're out there on that field, it teaches them to make decisions on their own.
I like that when you were talking about, because as you and I know, there's a lot of times in your life where you have to make a decision right on the spot. You don't have time to go back and sit and think about it.
That's true.
I like that when you said that. Did you feel like, with your son being involved in the football program and athletics, that might have brought you and him a little bit closer together? I mean, did you kick around the games afterwards or have a chance to discuss it? Or?
Oh, definitely. We discussed the games even before they were played. Sometimes we tried to outguess Mr. Peterson what he was going to do.
Oh, we all like to do that, don't we?
We all like to do
yeah, we like to do that.
And then after the games, of course, we went back over the certain plays where maybe he could have gained another yard or two or what have you. No, as far as it brought us together more in sports, plus it made him think quite a bit more than just, it was good. Yes, we discussed it a lot. Yes.
And I think I can honestly say, too, that with Ryan being a success at football, the way I look at the direction his life's going right now, I think he's going to be a success the rest of his life, too. I might add that. He's a good, hard-working, good kid. I know you wanted to add something here in closing that you thought needed to be said about the coaches here at West Branch, so I'm just going to let you kind of take off on your own here.
I appreciate that. We, as parents, can get our kids ready, send them to school, but also the coaching staff are the individual we have to thank for our athletics in West Branch. It takes a lot of time away from their families, of evenings, days, or what have you. And I'm, for one, I want to thank the coaching staff of West Branch for what they have done for my daughter, Kim Ann, and my son, Ryan, and for all the other kids in the system.
Well, I'm sure, Bill, that the West Branch coaching staff thanks you for producing the fine children that you have and being such a good supporter of West Branch athletics. And thanks again for coming on and visiting with us, okay?
Thank you.
All right, we're back again. Our next guest is Bob Ty. Bob happens to be part of the famous Greenview Estates duo of the Ty Capper families that have produced 4 football players here at West Branch High School. Bob's son, Bill and Bob, were both elected to the Shrine Bowl, which is quite an honor. We've had a number of Shrine Bowl players here from West Branch, and Vic Capper, Tom's son, got to the Shrine Bowl, and Tom also had another son, Dwayne, that was a starting fullback for the Bears for 2 years. So those 2 families have really produced a lot of quality football players here at West Branch. Good supporters of the football programs, good families, nice people to be around. And Bob here was also a former football coach. I might add, he's amazingly good looking for being a football coach, but he was telling me that he was a football coach in Nebraska for 3 years. He coached at Lamar and also at Eagle Grove. So he's had a lot of experience being around football programs, and I feel he's really qualified to sit here with us and talk about football. And Bob now happens to be the agency manager for State Farm Insurance. We'll get a plug in here for State Farm while we're at it. And Bob, one of the things that we were talking about before we started this thing was how big a part of your life football has been, and it kind of ties in with your philosophy about life.
Well, I've kind of come full circle in football. I started out in Nebraska in grade school as a casual fan when I had brothers playing, and then was lucky enough to be able to play high school football and some college football, and then coached for 9 years. Then got out of coaching and was back to being a casual fan, and then got a little more intense when I had 2 kids playing high school football, and now back to being kind of a casual fan again. But
in other words, the pressure's kind of off now, ain't it?
Well,
I know how that is when you got those kids out there playing. You live and die, I think, with every play almost.
now, of course, a lot of people could never believe I ever was a coach, because I never got very excited when my own kids were playing, but I used to just kind of sit back and let it happen. But my philosophy on life sort of is, there's a parallel to to high school football here at West Branch. My philosophy on life is sort of, does it make a difference? If it makes a difference, then I get very involved or react to things. And if it doesn't make a difference, I kind of let things go. And does high school football make a difference here at West Branch? And I think it makes a big difference. And I think high school football at West Branch is very important, as I perceive it from the public's point of view. Everyone here has heard of Massillon, Ohio, and the tremendous support they get from their fans, the 20 to 25, 30,000 people at a high school game. And per capita, probably we do as well at West Branch. There's nothing much moving downtown when there's a high school football
That is
game.
kind of amazing. I hadn't thought about that before. That's a good point.
Well, I've noticed
That's a
that,
good point.
we lived here, I guess, 14 years, and we've gone to, probably haven't missed too many of the high school games. And there's people here that you never see at any of the other sporting events.
That
At
show
the
up-
high school down
yeah,
there
that
at
show
West
up at
Branch,
football
they do.
games.
You always see the parents and so forth
Yeah.
and everything else, but
Yeah.
at the high school games here and during football season, it's kind of a come together for the whole
We have pretty
community.
good crowds
Maybe
here,
it's
too.
because of the weather, or because
Yeah.
school started again or what.
Yeah.
But it's the fan support here, I think, is great. And of course, there's been long tradition of good football.
Yeah,
Football
that's
has
one
always-
of the things we were talking about earlier. Is you were saying you think that tradition is very important.
Well, I think,
here at,
you talk to people, and it was important 60 years ago, and 50 years ago, and 40 years ago. And I think Butch and his staff are doing a great job of keeping this going.
Another thing that you mentioned, Bob, as we were talking here too, was you feel maybe the success of a program is measured, and we'll tie the conference in with this also. I feel we have a strong conference, I know you do, but the amount of all-state and all-conference players that come out of it, and also...
Never say All-State to a State Farm panic.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I take it. We're getting
Sorry.
we're getting
Cut that out if
by
you want
all-state
to.
all over the place. But you were saying that the amount of all-state players, all-conference, and maybe the players that we see over here at the University of Iowa.
Well, West Branch has certainly had its number of players since we've been here now. We've watched make the all-conference team every year. We normally have one or two, well, maybe not two, but we normally have one or two every 2 or 3 years on the all-state teams. We've had a number of boys selected to play in the Shrine Bowl. And I think that speaks highly of our program. everything we have going. And
I do too. I think
getting
it's
back to my
amazing for a
philosophy, it must
school.
be important.
Yeah, I think it's amazing for a school this size to have the amount of all-state players that we do.
And then you look at the conference, and I, of course, have a brother that coaches in Webster City, Iowa, and it's a little bigger schools than what we have here, but I'm always kidding him a little bit about the number of people from Eastern Iowa Hawkeye that, and I guess this would be one way you could measure it, that are on the squad at Iowa and Division I football. There's always at least 2 kids playing for Iowa out of this conference, and I'm not sure you could say that about any other conference of schools of this size, 60 to 70 kids in high school or per grade in high school. So I think, to sum it all up, I just think football at West Branch and Eastern Iowa Hawkeye is very important, and they do a tremendous job in showcasing their high school football here.
Well, let me tell you, Bob, it's been a pleasure having you on today, and I really appreciate you doing
appreciate
this
you being asked
for
to
Butch
come
and the
on here.
kids, and thanks a lot for coming and sharing some of your wisdom with us.
It meant a lot to me just to come here and talk about it.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. All right, our next guest is Shirley Fountain, another one of the famous West Branch football families here. Shirley's husband Tom and her, we were talking before we started the program here that you've lived in the West Branch area around 13 years now, haven't you?
Yes.
Something like that. And they've produced 3 sons that have all played football for West Branch. Ray, Donnie, and Rick. And Ray and Rick were both selected to all-state football teams. They both have been selected. Ray played in the Shrine football game, and Rick, I know, has just been elected to play in the Shrine Bowl, and that's going to be July 30th, I believe, this year.
I think so.
And I guess in talking, I wanted to ask Shirley right off the bat how she felt about her baby now being grown up. The last one, Rick, and I might add that baby is now 6 feet 2 inches, 210 pounds, and like a Mack truck when he comes running at you. Do you have any feelings about having your last one now done with his high school career and moving on into the college ranks? I'm sure you'll play college football somewhere, but
It's going to be lonely. We all enjoyed the West Branch community. And the coaches were great, and they were all good help. The whole school has been a good help for us all.
so you've really enjoyed being here in the West Branch community. I think it's a
Yes.
good community to live in.
Real good.
That's great. That's great. I know one of the things we were talking about here also was that I know you feel strongly about having your kids involved in athletics. It's been a big part of your life, a big part of their life. And I asked you if the kids ever came home and asked you or Tom for advice. Did you ever have to give it, or what
Not
was
very
your...
seldom, once in a great while, but they never asked very many questions at all. If they had something they wanted to talk to, they'd come to Tom afterwards. Tom isn't one to sit and pry out of them. But if they had something to talk about, he was good to talk to.
That's good. I think young kids these days, it's hard to get something out of them sometimes. It's hard for young people to talk to their parents the way I think it's a little bit different than it used to be.
A lot different.
Yeah, kids, the parents are trying to mold. I think if it's anything like the way my kids are, you try to mold yourself around the way the kids are these days. Kind of a reversal from what it used to be, when the kids were scared to death of their parents, I think. Did you ever pressure them? What do you think about pressuring kids to be involved in athletics?
I don't think you have to pressure them. I think if they want to be involved, they're going to be involved.
You feel it has to be an inner thing within the kid himself to want to do it, right?
Yes. And I think it helps a lot to keep them off the streets and stuff by them playing sports.
And keep them involved.
Yeah.
One thing that some of the earlier guests were talking about is that they actually felt that athletics helped them in the classroom because it meant that they had to concentrate that much more to keep up their studies.
Oh, I think so too, and I think that with your curfew and things in athletics, it keeps you, get your grades up.
And we get back to the discipline factor, right? You think that discipline's a big portion of structuring a young person's life.
Yes.
Probably. I think we all need that.
When my first boy was playing football and the coaches jumped all over him, I was scared to death. I thought, why are they doing that? Then afterwards, I agreed that it was for the best. And the coaches know what they're doing, and it shakes them up and gets them to know what they should do in a game.
And as it get back also to what one of the earlier guests were talking about, is that the coaching staff tries to get them to make the right decision at the right time.
Right. And I think that if us parents sit at home and tell them what to do, what good does that do for the coach to tell them what to do if you're telling them something else to do? It just gets them that much more mixed up.
Yeah, I think it's great that, so in other words, you're feeling like most parents should, once in a while you question what the coaching staff does, but in the long run it's best to support what they're doing because it's in the best interest of your...
9 times out of 10, it's the best way to go in the end.
That's right, I think you're right. In kind of closing, do you have any advice that you give to any of the other parents as far as encouraging your kids? And
Follow your kids through sports because it isn't forever. It's going to be lonely without. And just encourage them to go out if they want to go.
Well, that's good. Well, Shirley, it's been a pleasure for me to sit here and talk to you because I happened to coach your little son when he was in 5th grade baseball, so I know what a good kid he is, and all 3 of your sons are good kids. So thanks a lot for coming on and visiting with us. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, my final guest for today is a very good friend of mine and a friend of a lot of people in West Branch, a good friend of the football coaching staff, that's for sure, and a lady by the name of Marilyn Cook. And Marilyn's been a great supporter of West Branch athletics for a number of years now, and talking before we started here, Marilyn says she's been in the West Branch community over 20 years. Like Shirley before that we were talking to here, Marilyn has 3 sons, Mike, Mark, and Marv, and they all were involved in West Branch athletics. We were just going over some of the things that they were involved in. She said Mike was a track man, played baseball, did participate in football till he broke his arm. Mark was a good athlete, played football, basketball, baseball, and golf, and was good at all 4, I might add. And I guess her baby, we might say, is a guy that a lot of people in this state seem to know right now, and that's Marv. And we were just trying to put together his athletic career here at West Branch, and it's pretty difficult to do. We think that he probably has probably 15 letters that we talked about there. He has so many honors that we could sit here and spend the whole time talking about that. But I wasn't sure when he graduated. We were just talking 1984, right? Is when he graduated, and that was a great football team that we had that year. And there was a great bunch of athletes on that team, and we were talking about some of the names that were kicked around here. And Mark Hyde, for one, good football player. Now he's at Central College. This year was voted first team all-conference at split end. He's been chosen captain of the track team. Another individual that comes to mind is Brad Bartelt, was all-state. Now he's up at UNI setting all sorts of records. They just won the conference, I think 400 I see in the paper the other day. Jeff Wright was another one, all-state. Just a great bunch of athletes, but more than that, I think, Marilyn, they were good kids too. You knew a lot of those kids.
Sure did.
Good bunch of kids. Some of the things that I'd like to talk about is how big a part of your life has sports been?
It's been a major part of my life. Having had all the boys active in sports, it was kind of a challenge at times. But one thing, I did not miss attending all their activities.
I think that's amazing. You're a working mother, as we all know, and it's tough, isn't it? When you go put your 8 hours in, or 12, or whatever it is that you're forced to work anymore, I know there's a lot of times it's pretty tough to drag back out for those games, isn't it?
Yes, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's great to hear you say that. How about the boys? Did they ever come home and say, "Mom, I need some help"?
That's right, they did. Basically, of course, we discussed what the problem was or what was their concern, but I always did tell them that, you do set goals, make them realistic, and go out to achieve them.
That's good, and I personally feel, Marilyn, that you're where it starts at, right? The kid has to get the right advice from you to get him started in the right direction. And I know one thing that when you said setting goals, I don't know how many times in talking to Marv that he said that he's a goal setter. And in talking to his Iowa coaches right now, I've had several of them say to me that he is a guy that sets the goal and then goes and gets it. So I think that's great that you mentioned that. Kind of talking about Marv and the Iowa football program and so forth, We both know he's a great football player. He's a great kid, along with being a great football player. But how important to you is that college degree, along with the football?
That's the top
success?
priority. I have stressed the fact that I want him to get his degree and go on, in future life, because football is something you can't always play. So you have to get a career established, and this is one of the points I do push.
So you're pushing real hard on him to make doggone sure that he gets that degree.
Gets
So
the degree.
that's great. One thing I was kind of curious about is that do you feel that you've been around, this next question, give you a little lead, and you've been around the academic end of things for quite some time, because I know your mother, Alberta Peterson, was a teacher for over 34 years. But do you think that Marv was adequately prepared here at West Branch for not only his football career, but for the academic side of things once he got to Iowa?
I do, definitely. I'm a firm believer in that. We came from a small community. I felt he was very well prepared, because they do have the college prep courses.
Prep courses here at West Branch.
And so therefore, I could see if he was having a problem with schoolwork or what, the teachers did take an individual interest in it, and I was always notified if a problem was developing. So therefore, we had a real good communication, and therefore I really felt Marv was prepared that way as well. Also, when they get to college, it's you have a class here, and then you have free time, and then another class. Basically, that's the way the school operates here too, and that's the way college is. It makes them become more independent and more strong in their thinking, and they have to go, and
they're on their own, right?
that's right.
In other words,
they're
they've
on
got
their
to do
own.
it, because
They've
no
got
one's
to do
going
it.
to,
They have nobody that's going to be
Yeah.
pushing him, is what I want to point out.
One thing we were talking about here that I liked what you said too was that before we started taping here, that you feel that, I mean, a lot of times these days you hear parents say, and I hate to hear it, but they say, oh, your kid's a great athlete, you ought to move him to Iowa City or to one of the bigger schools where he can get, he'll be so much farther ahead there. And I think Marv is a perfect example of what a kid can do from small town USA if he puts his mind to it. And you were telling me you really think it's beneficial for him to come from a small community.
With all the coaching staff and so forth that have taken individual interest in him. And I think it makes him a broader individual, because they are able to participate in more activities, not only in sports, but now that I think about it, he was also in chorus and drama and those kinds of things that...
the kind of things you don't hear much about,
right,
but...
and it makes them more a broader person all the way around if they have an opportunity to participate in a lot of activities. And had he gone to a big school, I know he wouldn't have been able to do all those.
That's great. That's great. I guess in closing, I'd just like to say, do you have any advice that you'd like to give other parents as far as getting their kids going in the right direction?
Okay. I'm a firm believer in, like I said, I've said before, and that's setting goals and making them realistic, and also support your child and your school system and whatever they do.
Well, Marilyn, it's been a real pleasure sitting here talking with you. We're good friends, and I appreciate you coming on and doing this with us, okay? And best of luck to you in the future, too, all right?
Thank you.
Yeah. I guess we'd like to pass around the credits now that we finally have got everything drawing to a close, and we'd like to thank, number one, of course, the coaching staff for putting the thing together. We want to thank the community of West Branch for supporting the football program. We want to thank all of the people that have participated in the tape. I think the guests that you've seen here today have just been great. We'd like to also thank the school administration. They've been a big part. During the course of the taping, we hope that we brought out a lot of different areas. I know the tape is for the football program, but as you can see, we've tried to touch on the human aspects of an athlete's life. We've had the parents here. Tried to give you a little insight as to how they feel about it, what an influence they have on an athlete during the course of his high school career. And a very important thing here at the end, I think, that you've seen brought out is how important the school system is. the academic side of every athlete. A lot of times what takes place on the football field on Friday night reflects how that kid's doing in the classroom. And his academic portion of it is just as important as his athletic portion. It takes a fine balance between the two, so we hope that we brought that out well. And so I think that at least we hope you enjoy the tape. It's been fun doing it, and we're looking forward to seeing all of you on Friday nights again this fall when the old pads start popping. So thanks again, and we'll see you this fall.